If. Well, Lori.
Memento, okay.
Going LDC. We're on?
Yeah.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is now 12:13. It's Wednesday, April 15th. This is a meeting of the Town of Brookhaven Local Development Corporation. Following board members are present. Bonacasa, Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Ms. Scheit, and Mr. Braun. A quorum is present. Lisa, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, we have two resolutions on the LDC agenda. The first is our slate of officers. We have a new board member, as everybody is aware, so I'm suggesting that we officially add Mr. Bonacasa to the slate of officers, and I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anybody who wanted to change their role.
Same page. Not to confuse the listener. So good.
Right, so that's the first resolution. Do we have a?
So. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
And then the next one is to add Bonacasa to our committees. Jimmy, just so you know, we have governance for both the IDA and the LDC. We have governance, we have audit, and we have finance committees. So you will be, sorry, on all three of them.
Gotcha.
A resolution to that effect?
So move.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Unless there is any other business to be brought before the LDC, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. All right, our next meeting is the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency Governance Committee. It is Wednesday, April 15th. It is now 2:15.
Well,
12:15, excuse me. Left out. The following board members are present. Bonacasa, Mr.
Jimmy
Catley.
isn't actually on the committee yet, because this is the IDA. We go.
But he is a board.
Want to go to the IDA for a minute and appoint things and then come back during this meeting for 1 second?
Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned. I don't want to adjourn, but it's all right.
Pause.
Yes.
Suspend.
Yes, I agree.
Recess.
Recess, that's it.
That's the word I was looking for.
We're outside.
Just amend that to
All right,
recess.
to get back on track here. We will open the meeting for the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency. It is Wednesday, April 15th. It is now 12:16. The following board members are present. Bonacasa, Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Ms. Scheit, and Mr. Braun. The quorum is present.
So I'm gonna take a couple of things out of order. If you jump down to the resolutions, we have our slate of officers. We're gonna officially add Mr. Bonacasa to our slate of officers. Again, does anybody, any interest in shifting positions around? Hearing none, we'll leave it as is. Do you have a motion?
So move.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
And then we are also going to add Mr. Bonacasa to our three committees. Do you have a motion?
So
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The other resolution, what is there?
Oh, wait, okay, we can do another resolution while we're here. Resolution number 45 is, and I don't know why I put the number on that one and not on the other two, but we have a records retention resolution policy that Annette tells me we need to have a records management officer, and rumor is it maybe should be me, but I'll leave that up to you guys to decide who the manager should be.
I recommend that it should be. Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We go back?
Okay.
All right,
Make
I
a
need
motion
a
to-
motion to
Recess.
take the Industrial Development Agency's meeting in recess.
So move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And a motion to reopen the Local Development Corporation. So moved. Second. All those in favor, Phil, aye.
The
Okay,
IDA governance.
We'll get it right eventually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just, you get all the motions and stuff you needed?
Okay.
I do. Okay, so, you're gonna do minutes?
Uh, minutes of our meeting of August 20th have been circulated. Motion to accept those, please.
So move.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, housing. We have been talking a lot about housing. We have been studying housing a lot. I think we're at the point where we've got what we need to make a decision on what this organization's policy is gonna be for housing. There's a million different ways that we can approach this. There's so many nuances to it. I'm not sure that we want to just have it wide open, but what I will tell you is that my concern with this is that we are giving tax abatements, giving benefits to housing projects, and we're not getting a lot in return. So when we do a commercial, an industrial project, we give the benefits in exchange for job creation. These projects are different. I don't think anybody expects there to be job creation. The construction portion aside, the day-to-day employees, there's usually a couple of them. But so if we're not getting job creation, and we are certainly getting investment in the community, but if we're not getting job creation, what are we getting? And this board has taken the position that we should get, and I liked your phrasing, Mitch, rent restricted units. As it stands right now, in order to build something in the town of Brookhaven, the town is requiring that there are units set aside, 5% of the units at 50% of the AMI, 5% of the units for people whose income is at or below 50% of the AMI. And then the rent is commensurate with that. 5% at 65% of the AMI. So these projects are doing that for the town. What are they doing in exchange for the IDA's package of benefits? So that's kind of where we've been wrestling. I've got a lot of data, so if you have a question, I can probably pull the information and tell you what we've seen. As it stands right now, our policy is 10% of the units at 80% of the AMI and 10% of the units
No.
at,
5.
no, as it stands right now,
The total is 20, right?
10% at 80% of the AMI and 10% at 120. And
Right, but then you add the town to that, makes 30%.
well, it says
That's-
at or below
Right.
80%. So what projects have been doing is counting the town's 5 and 5 as our
Right,
80.
okay.
So,
right.
and when you do it like that, we're not getting anything.
Not arguing the point.
So currently, if you satisfy the town,
You satisfy the idea.
the health prong of the IDA, then you still would have to do the 120,
That wasn't the purpose of
right?
making
I
it
mean,
double.
that is what it says. So that's,
Right.
that, I mean, that's just the reality of what we've been
Because
doing.
our numbers are too high.
So, and if you look at, we've had a lot of our projects are 45 units, 74 units. You're only talking about a handful of units. And at 80% of the AMI, the rents that we're looking at are about $2,500 a month. So although we've been calling them rent restricted, that's in our UTEP, it's called affordable. Is $2,500 a month affordable? There isn't a right or wrong answer to that question, but that is sort of the question. So I don't think that when we.
Maybe the question is, by whom is it affordable?
Okay, right. Because maybe it's, not affordable to one person, it's affordable to somebody else. So that's the question, but it's supposed to be this 80% of the AMI is who we are trying to help. The other thing with the 80% of the AMI, the 80% of the AMI is 92,350 a year. So that's the income. Which is, that's the number that we're looking at or below $92,350 is the income level for one person. Obviously adjusts for more people. So what I'm trying to get you guys to work through is what our policy should be. If somebody comes to us with a housing project application in exchange for our array of benefits, what are they giving to us? It's not job creation, but what's the instead of job creation, they're gonna give us fill in the blank. That's the question.
And they kind of brought this on themselves by doing that little sleight of hand and saying, oh, we satisfied with the town's units. So now we can just do basically market rate at 80% of 120.
And Mary, I don't want to cut you with a mouthful, but I know you have some feelings, thoughts about this. Or until you swallow, Mitch, you want to say something?
Marty's got
Well, what are the other towns doing? You represent some other IDAs, is correct?
Yes, it
And
is.
so are we not doing what they're doing, or they're not doing what we're doing, or?
It really is different at every IDA. Some of the county IDAs serve areas with different towns, where the towns may have different requirements. Yes.
Since I'm very interested.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I don't want to shoot from the hip because it really is different throughout the state. So I can't give you exact numbers, but I think these types of IDA imposed restrictions are not uncommon. But, at what level it really differs from IDA to IDA. Some IDAs don't regulate it because they view that the locality regulates it enough. Some IDAs take it upon themselves to make such requirements. And I'll say a lot of IDAs grapple with these issues. You're not alone.
Okay.
Mitch?
Well, I mean, we've had this conversation on numerous occasions and listen, I fully understand. We're trying to provide housing which is subsidized by somebody else. That's the end result here. Because left to its normal course, an affordable unit at whatever level, and Emery and I have talked about this at length, is subsidized by somebody. We would obviously prefer it be subsidized by New York State. But to a large degree, and that happens in some projects. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen enough. I think we all agree in that context. So once it doesn't happen by the state and the feds have basically walked away from that context, the only other entities that are left are the IDA or the developer. Because they're the only ones left. We're never going to be able to provide, and I understand it's a small number of units. It may be 5, it may be 6. And I have my own issues about duplicative, but leaving that aside for the moment. For the 5 people who are in those units, it's one. It's theirs.
Of course.
Okay? It doesn't matter how many there are. For them, they're getting a benefit, I think a significant benefit, and something we should continue to provide in that regard. So while I understand the numbers in total may not be a lot in that regard, each individual unit is important to each individual, either individual or family or whatever it happens to be in that context. That's how I look at it. And so for us to provide any number of units, we got to do lots of singles. If we had somebody building 1,000 units, all funded by New York State tax credits, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The problem is we don't, okay? Either because we can't find somebody to do it, or the state won't do it, or the state has sent their money to other places in that regard. That's why I think it's always been the context of most of the IDAs, and I think Andrew has agreed, everybody has their own rules that to get subsidized units, I'll eliminate the word affordable because affordable is affordable to whom? You're absolutely right, okay? Subsidized units that cost more to build than they are being rented for. That's basically what happens, okay? And so we have to figure out how do we get that delta between what we can charge and what the cost of the unit is? Somebody's got to pay, okay? In many cases, the people in the market rate units pay because their rent is higher because I got to find $1,000 to subsidize this unit. The only person I get $1,000 from is everybody else. And what that number is depends on how many units there are to divide that number in and how many units we are providing. So it's a very complicated series of transactions. You also have issues in relation to capital formation, attracting money to Long Island. Most developers have to get their money from somebody or someplace. It's not, I said to New York State last week, I said, the best thing you could do is put together a bank for affordable housing, okay? And provide people different amounts so they can subsidize the units. And you don't have to do it on tax credit, just do it with cash. Whether that will happen is a different question, but it's the right way to do it because in the end, it's a subsidy of the rental. I've always, the 120 number no longer makes sense. It may have made sense at some point. It doesn't make sense now. I think we all agree because it basically turns out to be market rate and that's not the point, okay? The duplication of a unit being able to be considered as a town number and a R number, I think also doesn't make sense, okay? It should be separate categories for each so that we get more units in that regard. I think from our perspective, if the town is gonna stay at 50 and 65, and we have no control of what the town does, that's somebody else's responsibility gladly, okay? I think from our perspective, an 80% number at 10% at 80%, or some number like that, I think makes a lot of sense. And I would not allow a unit that's being counted for the town to count for us. We should have a separate category for separate units. That way we get more subsidized units at a number that, while it is being subsidized, is not subsidized to the detriment of everybody else in that regard. So that's where I would come down. I think and as I said, what the town does,
Can't change.
but I think from our perspective, we want the housing to be built. And we all understand it's not a jobs issue, except for the person who lives in that unit has a job, we assume, because that way they can afford the rent, whether it's someplace they got a job, okay? So it's an indirect benefit, I agree. It's not like, one of our pharmaceutical companies with 100 new jobs. We all understand that, okay? We all understand that, but his 100 new employees have to live somewhere. Hopefully, they're gonna live in places where that's gonna happen in that regard. And that's why it's so important, I think, for us to continue to help finance this type of housing.
My fear is that his 100 new employees can't afford to live in.
Well, that's a conversation Anne Marie and I have had, and I'm not arguing.
And maybe we could introduce a couple of those numbers.
Yeah, and I said, I'm not arguing that point, and maybe there are ways to accomplish that in different facets. It's all a question of, we want to reduce school taxes, okay? And the best way to reduce school taxes is reduce what the teachers make, because that's the main focus, except if we reduce what the teachers made, or the railroad, you understand the point?
We had this conversation.
I understand. But that's, we go around in a circle. That's my concern, is we have to provide that, hopefully the state will provide more tax credits so that Peter Flory or Dave Gallo or those people who are building 100% affordable units can build more projects that are 100% affordable, so that I'm not, you just happen to be the only person in the room. I'm sorry, okay? But you understand the point is some of his new employees can live
With somebody.
in a variety of different options in that regard. That's why, to me, it's so important to do this, and that would be my recommendation,
So we,
in a roundabout way.
if we look at what 80% of area median income is, as Lisa said, for an individual, it's 92K somewhere. For a family of four, it's about 132K. That's a lot of money for a salary, for an individual salary. And we can look at, what the salary ranges are for various occupations and various steps within those occupations. 132K is an unusually high salary for a lot of.
Could be two people,
So it could be 260K.
No, 130, I think the point is,
Seven
the
65.
130 is 80% of more than one person
More than one.
in
person.
the
Yeah.
unit. I think that's the point you're trying to make.
I mean,
Yeah, that's.
I'm not arguing, it's still.
It's in fact what it is what AMI calculations say is adequate for a family of four. So if it's two people, then it's somewhere between 92 and 134.
Right.
Okay. The problem that we are addressing is that our friends at Des Moines found that they looked at people who rent and live in Brookhaven, the town of Brookhaven. There are many people who work in the town of Brookhaven who live somewhere else. So but we're concerned about housing in the town of Brookhaven. And what our Des Moines consultants found was that of those renters that they looked at, almost half, 46%, earn less than 50% of AMI. So there's a half above and there's a half below. We're not even talking about 50%. The town is talking about 50%, but we are not. And if we are trying to make a difference in people's ability to afford a house or an apartment in the town of Brookhaven, we're ignoring half of the people, almost half of the people, if our bottom is 80% of AMI. We're not doing anything for the people at 50% of AMI or the people at 30%. And there are a lot of those kinds of people. It just isn't obvious that as Mitch and I and we will continue to have. I'm sorry. We'll continue to have conversations about the realities that developers face in trying to finance projects and the willingness of what the top of the market is willing to pay. But if we're trying to deal with the housing needs of people who live in the town of Brookhaven, something like, okay, the folks who are at 50% of AMI, 2/3 of them are paying more than they can afford. They're paying more than 30% of their income for housing. As I said to Mitch last night, I was at a meeting over the weekend that was trying to solve a different set of problems. And the facilitator we had at the meeting said, there are problems and they have solutions, A, B, C, D, and then there are dilemmas. And there are issues that have so many different parts that you can't see a simple A, B, C, D kind of choice of solutions. And the issue that we face in trying to increase housing for people in those lower income brackets is absolutely a dilemma because there are so many different pieces. There's the financing piece, there's the land availability piece, which we have talked about as something that affects pricing. There's the not necessarily elastic income potential of people who are working now who have certain skill levels, who may not be able to. The Camoin folks also told us that for people at that 50% bracket who are paying significantly more, I think their estimate was 41% of their income instead of 30% of their income for housing. In order to get to the point where they could afford 80%, they would have to increase their incomes by almost 40%. They would have to get almost another $25,000 a year to reach that. And what's the likelihood that even with education programs, which I certainly support, even with education programs up the wazoo, we are not likely to enable that many people, the 2/3 of the people who are paying more than 30% of their income for rent. We're not likely to enable them to get up to 80% of area median income because it just isn't there for them. It just isn't there for employers to pay them more than they are worth. So and as I've looked at this, and we know that, yeah, if we have more tax credits, we could absolutely do more affordable housing. But even in doubling, tripling, quadrupling, sextupling the amount of tax credits we can get, that's what maybe even an order of magnitude, maybe increasing it by 100% would be required for a significant number of developers to be able to build 100% affordable units. So are the tools that we have, as this is the problem that the issue that I keep coming back to, are the tools that we have, which are entirely tax benefits. Pilot instead of the existing tax requirements, the mortgage reporting tax. The other one, which escapes me at the moment, sales tax, which is a big one, absolutely, for construction. How much can we, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we would really like to get as much as we can affordable housing with the tools that we have to offer. But I'm not sure that the tools that we have to use are going to get us very much farther than we are now. Certainly, if the floor is going to be 80% of AMI, it's going to help people, absolutely. It's going to make a big difference.
Why does the floor have to be 80% of AMI?
Well, that's the number that I heard.
Well, then
That's my recommendation.
Yeah,
Other people may have other ideas, that's my recommendation.
the other thing is, there was an interesting article, and it had to do with condos, which is another interesting thing, but anyway. The Nassau IDA, I don't know if anybody got a chance to read that, I read it in the paper, and I know it was circulated. The Nassau IDA gave sales tax and mortgage tax, but when the project was built, they only for the construction period, they went on the regular tax rolls.
so they only got a pilot during the construction.
During construction.
Correct.
Wow. I was thinking
Which
about something that.
Maybe another way to deal with this, because then the school districts wouldn't be in such bad shape.
Yep.
And they would give more taxes to school children, especially in these
I
multi-family.
would disagree with your assumption that school districts are in bad shape because of IDA benefits.
I didn't
don't
say
agree
that. I didn't say that at all. I said that they would get more money and their budgets wouldn't be in such bad shape.
No.
It's not anything to do with
I also
IDA.
disagree with that, okay? School
Whatever.
districts are in bad shape because school districts put themselves in bad shape. It's not because of the IDA benefits or
Okay.
lack
Well,
thereof.
All I'm saying is they would get the taxes.
That's another possible way
Mhm.
to maneuver around this.
Mhm.
It's just give a pilot for,
during the construction period.
Yeah, Lisa and I thought that was interesting.
I do think it's interesting. I will,
I was thinking of stepping it up faster, but that's even more
well,
aggressive.
I will tell you that, I did a little bit of analysis and I looked at the benefits that we give to housing projects and the number of units that we got rent restricted. Obviously, they're building other units,
Mhm.
but the analysis that I did on what we got as far as rent restricted units for, in exchange for the total benefits that we gave. And remember, some of them, they're over a number of years. So if I say 8 units, it's not just 8 units because it's each year there's 8 units, but it's somewhere between just the 4 projects. I just threw a dart, grabbed 4 recent projects. 2 of them are over 55, 2 of them are market rate. 2 of them haven't closed with us yet. 2 of them are well under construction. It comes out to somewhere between rough numbers, 400 and $1.1 million per unit in benefits.
But that also takes the benefits and divided only by the rent restricted units.
Only the that's what I'm
Not-
saying.
Not the whole thing.
Not the entire thing. If you take all the units that are being built. But those, I'm looking at what the IDA is in exchange for your job creation, we give this benefit.
Mhm.
In exchange for the rent restricted units, we give this benefit. So that's why I looked at it that way. You know, there's other benefits to having these projects beyond the rent restricted unit.
Right,
I agree.
right.
Because like Mitch said, it only matters to the one person who has an apartment that they love.
Mhm.
It's just that one unit. But it's just something to think about.
And another number that just occurred to me is that those folks who are paying more than 30% of their income for rent, that's a federal number that's been around for decades. They are paying, those under 50% and under are paying 40% of their income for rent. And that can mean that if they were not paying that 40%, the delta between 40%, 30% is somewhere around $7,500 for one cut of one of the income cohorts. What could they do with that $7,500? Well, in our world today, they could buy health insurance.
Yeah.
Which they have just gotten, which many people, millions of people have just gotten screwed about. Or they could get their teeth fixed. Or they could pay for education that might help them move up the income ladder. They are unlikely to be spending all $7,500 at McDonald's.
The problem with the
Let's hope.
benefits during construction, which flips into a condo. In our world, you know, that project, I think those units were gonna start at $1 million, if I remember correctly. Less in Brookhaven, but it's still needs down payment somewhere,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
buy that
Talking
unit.
about concept, I was talking about the concept for rent.
Yeah. You do that too? I'm not suggesting we're gonna come up with the answer today, but got enough information
Lisa.
in the next month
We-
or two.
We
I
need
should
to
bring up my
do it,
mom's
though.
project, you know,
We
one
need to
wood
put
cross.
this going in,
100% of
talking
it.
Yeah, how
about
do
it every
we-
year.
Yeah, it's,
That's what Mitch is talking about.
I-
That if there was additional tax credits, you
Yep,
could do
that's-
more projects like Woodcrest
Right.
or
My mom's in-
Windport
Right.
or
Yeah.
Healthport.
again, I like to do projects.
So Gordy, that's a separate, we're talking about
But
market
Marty,
rate.
No, I understand what
Marty,
we're
here's the
talking-
problem.
talking
Do
about.
that, and we all agree, we'd love to do more projects like Woodcrest, okay? If you don't get tax credits, okay, which is what, okay?
Yeah.
Then you have to significantly reduce either your land costs, okay, or your construction costs. Those are the only 3 things
Okay.
that are left, okay? The problem with land costs is that we all understand, land costs are going up,
Yeah.
not going down, unless the municipality some municipality decides we're gonna no longer use this property for X and now let's use it for housing, provided it zero cost or minimal cost or whatever it is, okay? Because that, you've now eliminated
Course,
one
yeah.
significant cost, okay? You know, or your cost of construction is significantly less, and that's a very difficult. Because some of that you don't have control over because of labor costs or supply costs or whatever it is. It's, you know, the land cost and, as you and I have talked, the length of time it takes to get a project approved, okay?
Way
Because
too long.
every time, and that's not just on affordable, for any,
Any
Anything,
project,
anything.
any
time is
project.
money, okay?
2 years,
So if
3
you said,
years.
if you said to a developer, okay, I'm gonna give you all your permits in 6 months. Okay, as opposed to 3 years, okay, 4 years, which is what it normally takes now, okay. That significantly reduces their carrying costs, okay? Unfortunately, we don't have control over that. We'd love to have control over that. We don't have control over that, but if that was part of, you know, a discussion with the town, and I'm not just saying, not just this town, because it would also have to be with the county, because your health department approval is, you know, it's all well and good, you get site plan approval and you sit around 3 years waiting for the health department. You haven't I'm not saying you haven't accomplished anything, but you can't put your shovel in the ground, which is the point in that regard. So there are lots of things you could do to reduce costs, only some of which we can control in that regard.
Correct.
But
I'm
that's,
just
but
keep
having.
bringing it up.
Yeah,
I
and-
keep bringing it up because now you're saying they may be expanding in there.
If,
And
if-
again, for my mom to pay $1,300 a month for a 1 bedroom is, I don't know how long that project is or
Well,
when it was developed or started,
It's
but
your
it's still
project,
giving,
Yeah.
it's
it's still
CDL
giving off
project,
benefits.
And we are, and we can expand it if we can get additional tax credits.
Right.
But that's what's gonna make it possible, but if somehow we lived in a fantasy world and the town could agree to speed up permitting and the county could agree to speed up permitting, and we could say, if you'll do X number of units at 50% AMI, then you will get everything will happen in 6 months. And you'll be able to.
That's in the dream world.
That's a
fine. Yeah,
fantasy.
that's a fantasy.
But the 100% affordable are not really the issue you have to deal
Right.
with.
No,
No,
No.
that's great, that's
We're
what,
getting off on a tangent.
It's market. And
No, I understand what we're trying to do, but like.
But-
Those
but
are
if
easy.
we could
do those.
increase the
Any
number.
systems come through, we move on
Right.
them.
No, I
And
understand
everyone
that.
loves them and it's the best
Yeah.
tax
If we
break.
could increase the number of affordable units in a market rate job by offering to speed up the whole approval process.
It's
That-
outside
that's-
our control.
Yeah, it won't happen.
Outside our
All
control.
right, I got you.
Well, here we have somebody who knows what the town is thinking. What
It-
would it take?
It's not gonna happen.
And so-
And a lot of it is not even the town. I know
Yeah.
the town gets the blame all the
Mhm.
time, but if you have lousy consultants and the stuff keeps coming back wrong, that doesn't help
Yeah.
either.
Any final thoughts before we move on? Just one question for
No.
you, Annette. Not that's the answer, but what kind of applications are we getting for ADUs in town?
Huh,
No,
None,
none.
really.
None.
Wow,
That's what I thought.
all right.
So we need to make a decision sooner than later. So I don't know, tell me what you need me to do, tell me what you need me to provide to you. I'll crunch numbers, I'll gather data, just lead me in what you need for this conversation.
I interject.
no.
I think.
No, I don't think that's right.
Before you make any decisions, you need to involve the developers.
A year ago, stop. You think we did studies and all the developers were interviewed?
I would argue that the IDA's risk analysis ends when they give the approval. The developer lives with the risk of things changing over its ownership for the remainder of its term of its ownership. Things like 50% or 100% increases in insurance, things like major changes in regulations or increases in interest rates and things like
The
that,
cost
so.
of doing business.
It is a.
You wanna go into business, you wanna take that risk, you take the risk. We have to look at what our board can do. We're obviously concerned with the developers. We work with everybody. It's our business. But right now, what we need to do, and we've certainly had developers interviewed, we've had 3 studies done, developers were interviewed.
Yeah.
We
We've done our home.
got their input into it. At this point, you guys have to reread the studies, make a decision, decide what you want our policy to be.
And I think you have to do it sooner than later, because
Yes.
we're gonna start holding up developers.
Yes.
I think, well, I think we should let the development community look at the Camoin report, because a number of them have said to me, they don't believe the numbers. And I've said to them, okay,
Give them a copy.
put it in writing and show me why you think it is either incorrect or not applicable to one, or whatever it is, okay?
Right.
I said, this board cannot make decisions based on anecdotes, okay?
Yep.
It makes decisions based on facts. So show the board the facts of why you think that report is not appropriate, I'll just use that word. And then we can have a informed discussion going forward. I think the other thing we'd like to have, and I think you raised it at the beginning, is what are the rules in the other IDAs? Not just on Long Island, but
Okay, New
Westchester,
York, yeah.
right, okay, places like ours.
Yeah.
Okay, that as to what their rules are in that regard, and then I think we can make an informed decision, and I have no problem making it next month. But I just think we need that information so that if somebody says to us, why did you make this decision? What did you base it on? We have things to base it on. That would be my concern.
Are you guys good without the 3 studies that we did? Has everybody reviewed them?
Yeah,
The 3 Camoin studies.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
no,
Okay.
I'm not arguing. I think that information was appropriate.
Post them on our website.
I think that would be helpful and let the development community
Mhm.
like it or not like it. But just tell us, if you don't like, if you don't think it's right, tell us why.
Tell us
Yeah.
why.
But
Yeah.
also checking with the other ideas.
Yes.
Outside of,
Yep,
outside of Nassau and Suffolk, Westchester,
yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just as expensive up in Westchester. Well, I'm just throwing as an example.
Okay, I know, I think Long Island's Long Island.
So not, you just wanna limit it to Long Island, or you want me to ask around the state?
I would think we should just see.
Yeah, it is different.
Is it? Okay.
I would go beyond Westchester.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Is that all right?
fine, that's fine,
Yeah.
That's fine. Just
that's fine.
what they do.
All right, believe it or not, we are still in the governance committee meeting, so unless there's anything further, I'll take a motion to adjourn that meeting, you all right? Is there a second?
So, second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
All right.
And then I need a motion to come out of recess.
Go back to the IDA.
Yes,
If it's less than 10,000
motion,
Motion, move.
second.
pounds,
Send
it to you.
Just text it to you.
Mid-second.
I second.
All those in
I
favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now we're going back to IDA.
My neighbor said, you can't have butter.
No, you can have, it's the poundage of the truck,
Now we gotta do it.
which I don't know, that probably might be okay, but if you send it, I'll have my investigation.
Thank you.
You will.
And,
You are guest.
when the TBI is on
Yeah.
That's for what?
neighbor, national neighborhood.
Okay. So,
Make a motion to the,
Yeah.
I did.
Okay,
Do they have any, is
so
there anything coming from any of them?
I'm gonna take a couple of things out of order because our guests have been
Yep.
patiently listening to us.
Listening to us.
And so-
Peter's been sitting there really listening to us.
And I'm gonna take, all right, so we have an application, it was included in your package from Amneal Pharmaceuticals for their 54th block road. Sorry. Can you say that again? I'm sorry. Amneal? Amneal Pharmaceuticals for a 54th block drive
3B under the agenda.
project. The application was in your packets. Sorry, you guys threw me off. Here, do you want to talk about your application?
Hello, Peter.
Gee, what are you doing here?
Now to move on to the less controversial. Peter Curry, Farrell Fritz, 400 Oryx Plaza, Unionville, New York. here on behalf of Amneal Pharmaceuticals. With me today is Yogesh Patel, who is closely involved in the 50 Forest Block Road project. As this board will recall, Amneal came to LDC several moons ago, a project that has been completed at 50 Horse Block Road already. So originally when they acquired the building or took occupancy of the building, it was approximately 110,000 square feet. It is currently approximately 472,000 square feet. It's a three-story building. And the purpose of this application, and by the way, to date, Amneal has increased its employment count from 150 employees to approximately 780 employees in the town of Brookhaven. We are looking to enter into a 10-year pilot with the agency and obtain sales tax abatements with regard to a major renovation and re-equipping of a portion of the Horse Block Road premises. 77,000 square feet of current warehouse, is going to be moved over to the other location that we discussed last month. And then, this area will then be dedicated to advanced dosage form production, oral solids, injectables, ophthalmics. The project is estimated to cost more than $61 million. 50% of the materials will be sourced locally. On the board to be aware of this because of the specialty equipment that is being acquired. Much of it will not even come from this country. And it's not manufactured here, certainly not manufactured or even distributed on Long Island. We are looking for a sales tax exemption on $50 million worth of the material, which would result in a sales tax abatement of approximately $4.4 million. The labor will come from Long Island. Materials will be, as I said, from a variety of sources. And at this time, we are asking the agency to accept the application and move the matter for a public hearing.
Questions from the board?
I just want to remind everybody that our last meeting, and I apologize if you said this already, we supported their facility in 19 Nicholas, yeah.
That has not had a public hearing yet,
No.
because we assume that both will occur at the same time, and we can come back to the board next month. We'll hopefully finally authorize the resolution if all hell doesn't break out at the public meeting. We are talking about an increase of approximately 70 employees as a consequence of what we are undertaking.
There are no questions. Motion.
So move.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Peter, I just have to remember, and everybody, I just have to remember there were efforts by the state a number of years ago to create a biotechnology corridor from Buffalo to Albany. But what Amneal and other companies like it have shown is that the talent to do that is really here on
And I think Long
In
Island,
Iceland as well as Brookhaven.
in Iceland.
especially Suffolk County, has many of
Yeah.
these pharmaceutical and
Mhm.
nutraceutical manufacturers. It kind of thing came together and it's worked out very well for the island, I would say.
You remember, we had Arrow Electronics was a project here back in probably the 80s.
Yes.
Yes.
We had 2 or 3 separate IDA packages for that building back in the time.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you. for the-
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Good luck.
You on the board at the time, Mitch?
Yes,
We had Eric?
yes,
I'll let you know.
yep.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is an application for So Sunrise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Keep doing what you're doing and do more of it.
Thank you, sure.
So Sunrise LLC, before I turn over to Tim, I just want to point out to everyone that this application is a little bit of a mix of our old application and our new application, but if you look towards the back of the application, we changed a bunch of things and now we're getting more robust information as far as our housing applications are concerned. So if you flip through, I think it's page 25, but some of the pages are out of order because they kind of, I think in this one, I think you guys blurred it together. You will see more information about the housing mix. And that's going to be going forward. That's what you'll see in our application. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody if they didn't, already notice it. You wanna?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Rested long enough?
Oh, you wanna go over there?
I don't
Okay.
know, that's a long discussion. Okay,
Wait, Tim, stay over here, Chris, if you
Okay.
can see yourself
if I can
on
see
the
myself,
camera, then you're,
okay,
yeah.
I
then
don't
you're
like
good.
seeing myself.
All right, we'll just,
I think I'm much more handsome in real life. Okay, the application, for the board is, for, recording tax, real estate tax, and sales tax abatements. In order to construct a 64-unit senior apartment complex with a sewage treatment plant on the south side of Sunrise Highway, just west of Hewlett Avenue in Petro. We applied for the benefits with the affordable rates as prescribed in the UTEP, which would be at 80 and 120% of AMI. We understand that the board has actively been discussing the affordable rates over a period of time. Most recently, about 15 minutes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago. And for this particular project, we acknowledge that 120% of AMI would be higher than what we would seek under market rate conditions. And we've talked to my client and realizing that and hearing the discussion today, as well as other discussions, we would verbally consent to the board, amend our application so that we'd be at 10% at 80% of AMI as in the current UTEP, and then 10% at 90% of AMI, which would reduce the rental rate by over $1,000 per unit, taking it from almost 4,400 down to 3,300. And we would ask that the board consider that. I would just like to address a couple of things that were talked about and which I think are kind of lost on this. Okay. People are, in the discussions, they say that there's a limited benefit tax. That is not the truth. The fact of the matter is that for every house owned, and we did a study on another matter about 10 years ago, $30,000 a year is spent locally within 5 miles of the site of the development. So for this particular project with 64 units, $1.8 million is going to be spent within a 5-mile radius of this project, which far outweighs the benefit that we're seeking from the town of Brookhaven. Second, we have a housing crisis here. Why do you think housing is so expensive? It's because there is not enough supply. If we continue to regulate the supply and acknowledging, I'm taking off the 120 affordable rate, which, I understand where you're going with this, and I personally think it's 120 is too much. Okay. Where it goes down from there, that's going to be up to brighter minds than me. But the fact of the matter is that we lack housing. It's endemic. You see the housing prices rising for sale, record after record every month. That's because there is no supply. We have to address this by all aspects, which is the town board, the IDA, health department, etc., to try and come to an agreement as to how best to go about this. And I think that you're on the right track as far as discussing it. What the solution should be, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is you have to also weigh into these other ancillary benefits. And that 1.8 million being spent locally is then going to end up being supporting businesses who are also going to spend locally and employees. And it's going to bring down the cost of housing, or at least stem the tide of the increases. And it's not any one project. It's going to be a cumulative effect. So this project in particular, taking away all the policy considerations, will have 195 employees during construction. We anticipate that the construction cost is going to be $15 million, labor alone, which are almost assuredly all going to be local. So local developer, local construction company, $15 million. With regard to, there's going to be no school kids generated as a result of this application
Don't
because,
say that.
well, no, because no school. That town code also has a regulation now in their zoning that requires that you have to be 19 or above to live at an over 55 development. ADUs are not permitted in the town of Brookhaven, so that's why we don't have them. So they're not permitted. So I mean, there's limited options as far as how we increase this housing stock. This is just one small piece of it. This project will be a benefit to the community, will benefit both in job creation during the construction period, and ultimately in job creation through the community by the spending that's going to occur. And that should be taken into account on these type of housing projects. So with that being said, we would amend our application to go, like I said earlier, 80% at for 10% of the units at 90%. We've done the math. I believe it works financially for a client. And I would ask that the board accept the application as amended. And I would thank you for your time.
Questions from the board?
Tim, what's the cost of the sewage treatment plant?
$1.5 million is $750.
Okay, and so $1.7 million because you're not in a sewered area. If you were in a sewered area, we wouldn't be having that conversation, correct?
You have a different company.
Different conversation, right?
The pump station, force main,
Right,
restoration.
but it most likely would not be 1.7.
It would probably be significantly less.
Okay, and then there is $1 million of Pine Barrens credits.
That is correct.
Okay, so what is the effect, if you could tell me, on the monthly rental for the 80%? Well, not for the 80%, because the 80% is subsidized anyway, for the market rate units, based on the additional costs for the sewage treatment plant and the Pine Barrens credits.
You got $3 million increase total.
3 million. So if I divide 3 million of a year?
Yeah.
A year,
No.
a month,
No,
a total. I want you to, if you could tell me what the difference in the monthly rental would be because of those two factors. That's what I'd like to know. I mean,
I don't know that we have the answer to that, but
Right.
without the benefits, we would not be able to.
No,
Do the financing.
Right.
We would not be able to finance this project because we can't take those things out.
Right.
We need a sewage treatment plant.
Right.
We are required to
Right.
Purchase and redeem 6.8 Pine Barrens credits, which is essentially it equals approximately $30,000 a unit in Pine Barrens credits.
$30,000 a unit over the cost of the project
Over
or
the cost of construction
building,
of the
the
project.
building.
so how many years would that be?
You have to pay that right up front. You
No,
don't-
I understand that. I understand that. But you make that up over a period of time. You recoup, let me phrase it this, you try to recoup, it says $1 million Pine Barrens credits, accept the number, okay? That $1 million is gonna be recouped by you, the developer, over a period of time because you can't charge $1 million at one fell swoop.
Yes.
So that each renter is paying a portion of the $1 million over their rental period. Correct? Whatever that is, that's what I'm just trying to figure out, what are the collective we adding to the rent that could be reduced if we didn't do it? That's my point.
Well, I think I'm just doing rough numbers.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to do
I'm
rough
basing it off
numbers.
a 20-year
Right, whatever it is,
amortization
right.
for the $1 million,
Right,
which would be $50,000 a year.
right,
With no interest added or anything like that, which would be about $750 a year more in rent per unit, approximately.
But the units are gonna last more than 20 years.
right, but the amortization is only over a period of time. I'd be interested, listen, I'm gonna vote to accept the application. I think it's a good application. I'd be interested in if you could come back with that number based on those things, because, you know, one of the reasons rents are high, higher than they should be, let me phrase it to you that way, is because we, the collective we, not just this board, but the collect, add things on to the, that requires the rent to be higher than it might be in other places, okay? So I'd be interested in figuring out what that number is, whatever that number is.
You mean the sewage treatment plant, in the Pine Barrens? I mean, how are you gonna take care of the sewage?
I'm
Like going
not
to Swan River?
Over and above whatever the pumping.
over and above with the pumping station, that's my point.
Yeah, county.
Over a county facility, or if we had sewers there, or if you were
Well, that's why
in,
it's good to
no.
build where the sewers are.
of course,
Like
but
in
that's,
downtown Patco.
right, but, right, except you can't always build everything in downtown Patrick, you run out of land sooner or later, okay? We'd all love to build in downtown Mineola, which has sewers, except we're all not in Mineola. Okay, or so it's a context of where you have to go to do certain things. As I said, I'd be interested in the number,
I don't know.
whatever
how
it
to
is.
I will try and get to a
I
number
just
like
be-
that. I just don't know how it works off the top of my head.
I understand, but you understand my question, okay?
Yes.
Uh, is internet connectivity gonna be included in rent?
Basic utilities are included in rent, which would be heat and electric.
Okay, so not,
But again, that doesn't get to be increased instantaneously. That's included in your number. So every year your rent, let's just say it's 2,900. 2,900, you take out the utilities first. You can't charge more than 2,900 for rent plus the basic utilities. So if electric continues to go up, heat continues to go up, those costs are absorbed by the landlord. You can't instantaneously say, hey, we have an oil crisis. We're now at $120 a barrel. I need to up my rent to my portal, so you cannot do that. Those are locked in, those ones.
well, that sounds good, because that sounds like it will help discourage your tenants from participating in the rate of increase of online sales, which has tripled the rate of increase of local physical sales. So that policy will help them continue to shop locally. Thank you. Where you were going.
We're gonna get there sooner or later.
Very good. I like it.
As opposed to filling up the warehouses with Amazon.
Did you say Hewlett and the service road?
Yeah, just
East
just
Patch.
west, yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
East Patch.
west of the Fairfield
Just-
there.
So
Across from it.
it is further west.
Yeah, okay.
Hewlett is there. There's one
Oh,
row of
Robinson.
housing, and then there's a
There's
vacant parcel
Yeah.
to the west of that. That's the
Okay, there's
parcel.
a Fairfield by Robinson then.
That's
corner.
further
Yep,
east.
yes,
Yes, you have the location correct.
yeah.
So I just have two questions. When I look at the additional information that we now have in our applications, we worked very hard to get this in here. It looks to me like the 50 units are gonna be roughly 90 to 100% of the AMI, like that's just what the rents are.
Well, between 33 and 3,800.
Right, when I do the math quickly and with my phone calculator, it looks like that's roughly 90 to 100. So you're saying that you'll lock in,
The additional 10 at 90.
okay, but that's sort of what you presented anyway,
Yes.
is that they were gonna do that 90, okay.
So we'll lock those in.
Okay, so one thing that we have discussed is, and I appreciate this suggestion of 10% at 80 and 10% at 90% of AMI, although I think 90% you say you're gonna do it anyway, is having them,
That doesn't include the utilities or base rent. So it will be more. If everybody pays their own utilities. But we are willing to accept
Okay.
this. Sorry,
But-
I just want to be clear.
I
Which
appreciate
is the
that.
point Anne Marie just made.
Yeah.
About the energy costs.
So,
Right.
since this board is having, as you acknowledged, a very robust discussion about where our policies should be, will you guys agree to locking into whatever this board decides in the near future?
Hopefully
near,
May.
stressing near May? Coming up with a policy. Is that something that you would agree to?
I don't think we have much of a choice, do we? You're not gonna.
Get ready for the fierce lobbying in the next month.
You think my phone hasn't been ringing this whole time?
Okay,
On squad.
Okay, so I'll,
so subject to that.
subject to that, thank you.
As long as we're all.
Right.
So does anybody have any other questions?
If not, motion to accept the application.
So moved.
Subject to our future.
Second,
All those in favor?
I'm gonna recuse.
Okay.
Well,
If you feel you must.
well, I'm
Yeah.
listening to the council.
Okay.
There we go. But we have enough votes.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
We have votes. I
All those
wouldn't,
in favor?
I wouldn't want Mr. Kelly to have to
Aye.
come out.
Opposed?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay, you too.
Take
Thank you,
care.
guys.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nice to get your pencil back.
It's a pen.
It's a pen.
Up a little bit. Told you one of those, I guess you have a
Give him a pen.
Yeah, you want a pen that isn't chewed up? Yeah, hold on.
Yeah,
Yes,
you send that.
his phone number.
I
You
told
need to
him.
call.
Got a phone
I
number.
told him.
Years
Give
ago.
him a pen. They're nice.
Mike, the point is, you
They
accept,
disappear off
you
my desk
accept
every time I
Lisa's
go back.
suggestion, you get a pen.
You should walk out of here.
Wait, hold on, we could do better, this is notepad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did I take your last pen?
No, we're good.
I'm doing.
No, I will,
Okay,
we
good.
will be what, yes, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Do you want to, oh, you keep going. So, Ron Hub, so this is a resolution, a final authorizing resolution to approve the pilot for the Ron Hub 2C section of the project.
So move.
Second.
Anything new that we should know, Peter?
We got initial draft of documents yesterday.
Yes.
So those-
Good.
They're close to identifying the lender. Looking to actually get this, make it completed by June.
Nice.
Excellent.
I had lunch there last month.
You did, where?
We couldn't find the speakeasy.
Did you go to?
Well, that's because you can't find this.
No, I know,
You gotta know where it is.
We didn't know where it was. We went to Toast.
Down the alley and you need to.
Down the alley. It was down that alley. We parked our car, 4 hours, they don't charge you. Just, you know,
Was that in section 2A or 2B?
that's like the main, oh, well, there was a lot of restaurants. It was pretty crowded, to be honest with you.
They do very well.
Yeah, the whole section was doing very well, yep. Whatever.
Yeah, they're looking to start very quickly, certainly this building season. Keep on going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That already leaves the last section, which is a lot more, so.
Someone send me where the speakeasy is so I can go there now.
We'll send you special direction.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
And the password.
It's there somewhere.
The motion on the table, it's been seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a request from C&K Development, their acceptance resolution expires on April 20th of this, next week, Monday. So they have put in a request to extend it to June 30th of this year.
That enough?
Just left. According to his letter, they are moving towards closing within the next 30 to 45 days.
What'd you say, June 30th?
Yeah,
July 26th.
July 20th of 2026.
July 20, right,
I'm sorry, what did I wrote June 30th and it's July 20th.
July 20.
I put all different numbers.
So it's basically 90 days,
Yeah.
90 days.
The motion?
So move.
Second.
All those in
When-
favor?
I'm sorry,
Yes.
when is our July meeting? Does anybody know? Hold on. Because maybe we should push it to just past that, just in case.
Good idea.
July 15th.
Oh, so July 20th.
That works.
Okay,
Okay.
Sorry,
All in favor? All right,
all in favor?
well, you stopped really quick there. You didn't get a chance to say it, so I just,
All right, so did I hear, was that?
I think they said.
Yes, it-
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
The next item on the agenda is vineyards at quorum. This is a request, I should look at the letter, because now I don't trust my
Where is
notes.
that? This is a long one.
Yeah, they're asking, their
Oh, orange
resolution
feet.
expires
Yeah.
June 22nd of 2026. They're asking us to extend it to March 22nd of 2027.
It's a long time.
That is a long time.
You have to get to a closing.
That's
You
because
haven't done
It
it.
has to do with the
Financing?
northern long-eared bat
Oh,
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Really?
What?
Oh, I thought they were having trouble getting,
Hearing restrictions.
I thought they were having
town
trouble getting
associated
financing.
with Northern long-eared bat
There's a very short window when you're permitted to,
cannot start until
Yeah.
December 1 of 26.
yeah, so they can't put a shovel in the ground until December. And then they can only clear from
I
December.
don't even think they,
Oh, that might be good.
and they have to buy Pine Barrens bread.
Oh, it does
before they
say
start.
they're pursuing the approvals, but they also know that the clearing is gonna be a problem.
And they have to buy their Pine Barrens bread.
Once those are bought, they're gone, correct?
Yeah, they're
And
extinguished,
They're extinguished,
yes.
never to be recreated.
No, you don't get double dip. But you can get more Pine Barrens credit. People are cashing more in.
There's still a market for it.
There's
There's
a
a-
person who has
there's a
26 of them.
significantly limited market
Yeah.
of basically.
He
one
just
person.
he just redeemed 6 more, so now he has 26.
Yeah, it's basically, he's the only market there
Yeah.
is,
I thought I knew. what-
reality.
So what's the date?
March 22nd of 2027.
Okay, motion?
So move, I mean.
Second,
All those in favor?
I,
Opposed?
I recuse myself from that
Yes,
vote.
sir.
Thank you.
So that we have it. It's a little lackluster, but.
Well, yeah.
That's
a
what
long-
they put the applications in too soon.
Yeah.
Yes, that's,
Yeah.
And they were doing that to try to beat
Secure.
your new
yeah.
Right. I
requirement.
remember they came here and talked about it.
The next request is for KCENY 31. Their resolution expires on April 30th of this month. I've been told that this is just probably not necessary, but
Just in case.
just in case, request to extend it to May 27th of 2026.
That's fine.
Second,
second,
all those in favor? Opposed? Lawsuits are all gone, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Been like that before. Sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
Short that
She's on vacation.
right, that's why.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
in case there's any problem.
Yeah, so it looks like that one's gonna close pretty soon.
That's excellent.
I'm hesitant to say this word, but does anybody have anything else they wanna talk about with housing?
No,
no.
We will put the Des Moines studies on the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll
Yep.
Let the
I'll let-
the
the developers know.
I'll let
Well,
Libby
once-
know.
well, more-
That would be,
Yeah, we spent the money on it, I'll just show it to everybody.
Absolutely.
we'll post those.
Yep.
And if they
Hopefully we'll
think there are
come to a resolution.
misperceptions or errors, all right.
Let us know.
Mhm.
Any,
Okay,
any other comments you have, by the way, get them into Lisa.
yeah. Oh, and if you think, wow, it would be nice if we knew, let me know. And if I have it, I'll share it. We've got a lot of data, a lot of data. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is LIBDC. We're sponsoring the LIBDC dinner on June 10th. Brookhaven National Lab is going to
Is that
be,
now the date,
that's now the date,
date?
I think.
I think it's a Wednesday, isn't it?
It is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. My wife's birthday.
What? We do a lot of stuff on your,
Bring your wife along.
Oh, yeah, oh,
We
yeah.
have a wonderful time.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure.
portrait her.
Yeah.
That, you gotta go out on a Friday night for her birthday, not on a Wednesday.
No, the next night I'm taking her to a Broadway show,
Oh, what are you going to see?
Titanic,
Oh, Titanic.
yeah,
Oh,
heard great things about it, so
Nice.
we're taking them, we'll see it, yeah.
We already plotted the money for that.
Yeah, it's already allotted. I just wanted to alert everybody, you know, hold it on your calendar. It's gonna be at Lombardi's on the Bay. If everybody would just let us know if you can attend. We have a table. Obviously, we can get more seats if necessary. The next, I will send an email.
Where's it being held again? Sorry.
Lombardi.
Lombardi's on the Bay.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
And then we took things really out of order because Lori, we skipped over your update. I didn't forget. I knew that we jumped around a little bit, so I'm gonna. Get over to Lori.
Why did you move?
Video.
Of what I discussed at the last meeting about the closings, the number of closings we had during this period. We had the additional 2 closings. Patchogue, Propco, and Hugh Shoreham Solar Deriva, which is all one project that it was sold, it was transferred, so we closed on those 2 projects during this period. Then we had 1 termination of 6 Rose, which is Claire Rose. No recaptures, no sales tax or extensions, and no completion certificates. Doesn't need to be voted on, it just information.
Yeah, just information, just so you are aware of what's going on outside of the actual meetings. She does vote on stuff, but then,
You wanna mention why the Claros wasn't extended?
well, there was
It's sold.
there was.
Sold.
Selling it.
But the buyers did choose. It was only a year or so left.
Yeah, there was only, there was a couple of years,
Okay.
yeah.
So that means if we come off the property deed and it's all theirs.
It's full.
Cleaner for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cleaner.
Yeah.
yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't have any.
What percentage would they be at?
I asked a question, was it last month that we talked about,
No.
well, actually, I think we were in executive.
What's it cost?
We were pouring back something from one of our clients.
Anything else? Very none, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'll take those in.
Thanks for meeting.
Oh, you have something going on?
Sorry?
Yeah, we give the money to.
Thanks,
the-
Good.
We feed people with these bottles.
Good.
When you have like